Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Ascension Accelerator, where you are uncovering your God nature and accelerating the experience of your desires. My name is Benny Ferguson, and I am your host for this short information webinar. Let's get started. Now, before we really get going, I just want to go over some brief housekeeping. First of all, I know you're busy with business, with work, family, possibly. But for just a moment, just for a few moments, I want you to minimize all those open programs and put your phone on silent so that you can really minimize the distractions so that you can allow the information in over these few minutes, because what I'm about to share with you, I guarantee, is going to create dramatic positive shifts in your life. And I don't want you to miss it. And then the last piece of housekeeping is just to relax and open up and allow your inner being, your higher self, to communicate to you whether the Ascension Accelerator is a good fit for you at this moment in your life. So first question, and this is a question I want you to ask yourself. Why am I here? It's a very important question because it's powerful when you are intentional, when you know what you're looking for, when you know what you want, when you have an idea, because that pretty much guarantees that you're going to receive the answer. What are you looking for? What are you trying to discover? What do you want to find out? For me personally, I know why I'm here. Going on 20 years ago, I woke up one night, probably around 1:30 in the morning, in an anger rage. I had just had a nightmare, fear-based dream, one that I had been having since elementary school, And I remember right before I woke up, I told myself that I'm tired of being afraid. Afraid of what? Really, afraid of life. Afraid of life, afraid of people, afraid of possible rejection, all of those type things. But I was just tired of being afraid. And I said this to myself right before I woke up. And when I woke up, I was in an anger rage. I could feel the heat coming off of my body. I was so upset. And I got out of bed and I just didn't know what to do with all that energy and that heat. And my wife came around her side of the bed and she was excited and she was asking me what was wrong and asking me to calm down. And then it happened. I had a spontaneous out-of-body experience. And for just a moment, my awareness, my vision was 360 degrees, and I could see my body in front of me, and then my wife in front of my body. And so that set me on a path, as you can imagine. I had two questions. The first question was, what happened to me and why? And the second question was, if I am more than I have ever known or believed myself to be, what control and power do I have in and over my life now in this physical body? Not later on, not after I die, but what control and power do I have in and over my life right now? And these two questions, even more large part, the last question, the second question, has driven me for almost 20 years now. And it has taken me figuratively through the gaining of knowledge and understanding and practicing things in my life, and now working with individuals personally. This is why I'm here. And this is why I'm here in support of you, and I'm clear on that. But you have to be clear on why you're here as well in order to guarantee that you get your questions answered. So, there's a highest version of yourself. There's always a highest version of yourself. And this is what you constantly want to be looking for. And I wonder, did anyone play sports in school or participate in anything that you knew from the very beginning that you had to become more? You had to be more than you were to be when you were starting in order to be successful. I participated in sports in school, and I had the vision of playing at the next level, playing in college, but I knew as a freshman that I had to be more than what I was starting out. And so the first thing I did is I went to the public library and I began to research and study how to train and how to practice in order to grow, in order to be more, in order to be a better athlete in my sport. And I did that. But what I didn't know is the positives that would come from my becoming more and my growing and becoming a higher version of myself in relationship to the sport. When I became a senior, when I was a senior, I didn't realize the awards. I didn't realize the acknowledgments, the recognition, the accolades that I would receive from just becoming more, becoming a higher version of myself because I wanted to play at the next level. And as I look back in hindsight in my life, in every area that I have tried to become a higher version of myself, there have been positive results that have resulted that I wasn't expecting. So what are you becoming? What are you becoming right now? That's the question. I grew up on what you might call a farm in the foothills of North Carolina. A farm, not in the sense of big animals. We didn't have cows, horses, and that type thing. We had the smaller animals. We had chickens, we had ducks, dogs, and cats, but we had huge fields, huge gardens in which we grew our own food, almost every vegetable you can imagine. And we also had fruit trees that we grew. And one of the first things that I came to know was that everything starts as a seed. The animals, the plants, everything starts as a seed. And you cultivate it and you love it and it grows, it matures, it bears fruit, and then it begins to decline. And our physical bodies go through a similar process, but not all of us, not our entire being has to go through that process. Your state of being, your mind, your emotions, and how you express them, they don't have to go through the decline, although many people do. That is the place where you can constantly be growing, expanding, and becoming more and becoming a higher version of yourself that guarantees greater and more success in your life. And that's why I asked the question, what are you becoming? Are you becoming more fearful? Is there more discord and stress and frustration that you're experiencing inside of your mind and body? Are you experiencing greater levels of dis-ease within your mind and body? Or are you experiencing greater freedom, greater peace, greater inner strength within your mind and body? And are you seeing that being reflected to you in your life experience? No matter what path you see yourself on at the moment, that's fine. Because in truth, it's just on the surface. All of those experiences are just on the surface. When you're talking about coming to know your true self, you're actually talking about getting down to the foundation of who and what you are, getting down to the foundation that exists beneath all of that surface stuff, all of those feelings, all those emotions, the thoughts, the results that you created in your life, the successes and your failures, all those things are on the surface. Growing up, I grew up mostly around my dad's side of the family, his dad and his brothers. And where I grew up, there was lots of old cars around, right? Old trucks, old cars. And they kind of look like this one in the picture here. The rusty paint was coming off, no wheels, sometimes no axles, no engine, no transmission. And, they were cool looking at them as a child, but one of the things I did notice is that they began to disappear. People began to come and buy those old vehicles because the frames, the structures were still strong, still intact. Now, I have no doubt some of them were used as scrap metal, but some of them were rebuilt because the frame, the foundations were strong. Axles were put in, new engines and transmissions, windows, repainted, All of those things can happen when there's a strong foundation. The whole thing can be rebuilt. I have an older model Suburban that needed a facelift, and so we took it to a body shop. And at the body shop, the gentleman described to us the process that he was going to take it through. And he said he needed to sand it down to its foundation. And what that was going to do is it was going to remove all of the paint that was flaking and coming off. It was going to remove any rust that was beginning to develop. And it was going to take all of that stuff off and get it all the way down to the metal, down to the foundation before he began to the rebuilding process of priming the metal and then applying the highest quality paint. But he had to remove all of the stuff on the surface. And when you begin to approach your God nature, the truth of you that is existing right now, it's a process of removing all of those things on the surface that you have to go through to get to your foundation. So when we're talking about your highest version, this is the part of you that exists beyond the fear. And in today's society, we live in a highly technological society where education, the need for education is high. You know, most people believe that they have to have more education and more education. They have to increase their skills and techniques in their learning in order to be able to claim the success they desire, in order to be more valuable. But when we're talking about your highest nature, when we're talking about getting down to the foundation of you, to your God nature and being able to express that in your life, we're actually talking about uncovering something that is already there. We're not talking about adding anything to who you really are. So the question is, because your God nature, your true self is below the surface, it's below all of the fear and all of the stuff that you believe yourself to be right now, I want you to ask yourself this question. And in asking this question, I want you to allow your inner being to show you through your imagination a movie of who you would be without the fear. And this is the question: who do you imagine you would be without the fear? And I'm going to give you just a moment. Close your eyes and allow your imagination to show you the movie of who you would be right now without the fear. Okay. So I wonder what you saw. I know for me, the fear has cost me millions of dollars from the business ventures that I've been a part of, all of the entrepreneurial endeavors that I have engaged in. Fear has cost me millions of dollars. It has cost me opportunity to travel. It has cost me business success. It has cost me peace and joy in my marriage and in other relationships. It's cost me a lot. And I wonder what it has cost you up to this point. Now, with all of that being said, it really doesn't matter. What matters is that at this moment, you have the answer. And the answer is this: the answer to the fulfillment of the life of your dreams, to begin living the life of your dreams or building to that point starting now. What you need to know is that you're not the person. That's the answer. You're not being the person. Now, where are you not being the person? You're not being the person in your dominant ideas, in your belief systems that exist in your subconscious mind. And you're not being the person in your energy frequency, the energies that you express out into the universe. You're not in alignment, number one, with your God nature, with your true self, with source energy. And energetically, you're not in alignment with the life that you desire. Every dream that you have, every intention, everything you would like to manifest in your life has an energy signature. And if you're not in alignment with that energy signature, you're most likely in conflict with it. And you're creating resistance to it, which means that you can never manifest it. It can never appear physically as an experience in your life. So that's, again, the only thing you need to know is that you're not being the person, and this can be corrected. As you move through the process of uncovering your God nature, uncovering that which is at the foundation of you, the first question that's going to get answered is who and what you are, really. That's the first question that must get answered. The second question that's going to get answered is, what is your true potential? These are the two questions that, once at your foundation, begins to build you up. That's where you begin to build on top of and to begin to really allow the light of the truth of who you are to shine through and begin to create and mold the life experience that you desire. And this is what you're going to find in the Ascension Accelerator. In the Ascension Accelerator, you're going to realize your God nature. We're going to uncover it. In the Ascension Accelerator, you're going to begin to master the ability to mold the energies that you express into the life that you desire. In the Ascension Accelerator, you're going to transform, you're going to learn how to transform the dominant ideas, those belief systems that stand in conflict to the life that you desire to experience. In the Ascension Accelerator, you're going to learn to manage and shift your vibration, your energy signature, so that you're in more constant alignment with your true self, with your God nature, with source energy, and so that you're more in vibrational alignment with the life that you desire. In the Ascension Accelerator, you're going to have a private community. You're going to be in a private community, a community where weekly there are open channeling sessions and question and answer opportunities. A community where there are going to be groups that are life area specific. When we're talking about growing, when we're talking about expanding ourselves and the type of information, the specific information that you're going to be receiving, oftentimes there are blind spots. Blind spots meaning that we often don't apply the information to every area of our life. We can get stuck in trying to apply it in a certain way, in a certain direction, and not apply it elsewhere. Where inside the Ascension Accelerator, there are groups that where the conversations are specific to certain areas. Say you're married, or say you're a parent, or say you're a business person or entrepreneur, where in these specific groups, the conversations are going to be solely based on that area of life. There are also going to be paid courses that you can participate in. You're going to have priority choice on a first come, first served basis on scheduling one-on-one sessions with Abraham. There's going to be constant conversation. You're going to have constant conversation, interaction, and support from the community. You also have access to all archived articles and channelings and everything else that is put into the community in support of you, your growth, your expansion, in support of you in uncovering and beginning to express your God nature and understanding alignment and how to cultivate and maintain the highest level alignment that you can. So that's the end of this short information webinar. At this moment, what you can do is, or what you want to do is scroll to the top of the page, click on join the community if you feel that this is a right fit for you at this moment in your life. There are 3 questions you're going to answer. They're going to let us know where you are right now in your personal evolution, and also let us know whether you're going to be a good fit for the community or not. And I'll tell you what, if you have watched this entire video and you're answering those questions, I have no doubt that you're going to be an amazing addition to our community. Answer those questions, and I will, at this time, welcome you to the community, to the Ascension Accelerator. I'll see you inside.